Hello everyone, I know that we are already being a little bit late, so I'll be really brief. Can I have my slides, please? And I'm really happy to be part of this panel, and we have heard a diversity, presentations on different angles of drug policy, both drug and alcohol policy, and I think one of the major things discussed here was the evidence or knowledge base for drug policies on the city level. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this in a wider perspective of Central and Eastern European and Central Asian discussions of drug policy of today in relation to the UNGAS and the world drug problem, because I think that it would be a little bit strange to have this wonderful panel here where the UNGAS outcome document is discussed and not put it into this wider perspective. So I would speak from a civil society perspective. And first of all, I want to draw your attention on why we really do need this civil society involvement into UNGAS processes and other drug policy discussions. Well, one of the issues for Eastern Europe and Central Asia is that we have a diversity of different countries with very different drug policies. And we see that some of them are more progressive. And I'm happy to say that even Mr. Jablonski in his speech said that Polish drug policy is quite conservative one. I would say that for a lot of states to the east of Poland, Polish experience is considered to be a best practice example. So we have a gap between, more progressive and less progressive countries of Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and we want to reduce this gap. So that's why we need such intergovernmental, such meetings, international meetings, where governments can learn more about progressive drug policies. But also we need to start building country consensus on drug policy change. And this way from Frankfurt Declaration to Warsaw Declaration, which we have heard about today, I would say that most of cities, most of countries of Eastern Europe and Central Asia, they just were not part of these discussions. It's very nice for us when I visited the Warsaw Conference. It was very good to see that we didn't have the discussion just within the civil society. The discussion was between municipal level officials, both from health services, but also from police and the civil society. But in many countries of the region, we do not have such fora where people can come and openly discuss, openly share their opinions and experience about drug policy changes. So what happened in the region besides the Warsaw Conference in February? We had 2 regional consultations on drug policy, one in Tbilisi and one in Vilnius, covering in total 27 states of Central and Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and a number of national consultations in Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Kazakhstan, and it's an ongoing process. Because what we are trying to do, we're trying to use UNGAS processes to mobilize the discussion on the country level. So just a few words here about the critique of the civil society, if I may say so, to the current version of the UNGAS outcome document. So we see that the outcome document still promotes further discrimination of people who use drugs, that it still puts national legislation above knowledge and scientific evidence and the right to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health. Because if you have seen the last versions of the outcome document, we still see almost in every paragraph that countries should apply the scientific knowledge and international recommendations according to their national standards, but we believe that it should happen vice versa, that national standards should use the best of scientific knowledge that we have. We still do not see a lot of, we don't see harm reduction mentioned there. It's hidden in one paragraph, but the outcome document document definitely does not promote harm reduction, and we as civil society are really unhappy about it. And one of the serious issues that, like police abuse, and is not even mentioned there, and we still see a lot of cases of inappropriate police behavior in many countries, in many cities. And also we do not see strong language on treatment and social support as alternatives to arrest and incarceration. So why it happens like this? Europe had a leading role, one of the leading roles in organizing, developing the outcome document. So why don't we really see the linkage between the texts of the Frankfurt Declaration, of the Czech Declaration, of Warsaw Declaration in the outcome document? We think that one of the issues is that still we have drug policy largely discussed by governments with governments. Perhaps if our governments, which proactively support harm reduction on the country level, if they had backup from us, if they had our support, maybe the outcome document would look better. I would say that the actual level of civil society participation in the region, in terms of on-gas processes, but I would say in most of drug policy discussions, is that governments very rarely initiate dialogues with the civil society. Sometimes it's when the civil society asks governments to come, they do come to discuss things. Governments naturally do not coordinate their positions, in this case their position for on-gas, with the civil society. So we see there's a process which is always initiated by the civil society, and sometimes we get information on time, but sometimes not. Of course, I'm finishing. Of course, we see exceptions here. I wanted to say something good, but I don't have time right now. I'm sorry. But the thing is that there are, a number of countries, a handful of countries in the region who could share this, positive example of proactive governmental actions to involve civil society in drug policy discussions and make the European experience promoted at the international level, including the outcome document. So please consult more with us and use us as not as your enemies. Don't regard us as enemies. We can be of huge support. Thank you.